What's going on, creators? Yeah, just want to get on here and bring everybody back to now. Appreciate y'all being here and vibing with me for a bit. Yeah, I wanted to continue the conversation about just mental diets and really just focusing on the good that's out there, which is in abundance when you really start to look for it, and not to sit there and just like fill your mental diets with the they and and the worst case scenarios and no, they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that, and it's like stop putting attention, because what happens when you start putting your attention down these rabbit holes of the they is you really start to build them up. I mean, it's like you start to give your power away to them when the reality is it's like the power's within you. And so really trying to focus more and more on living the life that God created you to live, one in peace and joy and abundance, and really taking that full throttle and sharing that with others. I've been doing a drywall job at a customer's house, and he was like telling me how he wants to start doing his own business, and I'm somehow like somewhat related to this guy on some level. Kind of, but like, really trying to encourage him just go for it, because it's like really the biggest thing, and what kind of stems it, I think, is like he's starting to get a little bit hassled at his job for this COVID shit, and like I can't believe like so many of these jobs are like that narrow-sighted, brain dead, to not realize how hard it is. Well, like in my area, to find staff, employees. It's like you have like zero leverage on these people, and it's just like, if you want to continue to throw your business away, keep acting like a Nazi, and it's just like, I think I told him, it's just like, man, the biggest thing is jumping and getting over that fear hurdle of like, what if this doesn't work out, and what if I can't provide for my family, and what if this doesn't blah blah blah. It's like, having a business, and I've been doing like self-employment, I guess, I think 10 years with music. I think my handyman business is like 4 or 5 years old now, and like, you get these like fear challenges, but instead of just like running and hiding from them, you just learn how to face it and move past it and through it when they happen, because it's like I was telling him, it's like, well, first you'll have the fear of like, oh, what if this doesn't work? And then it starts working, and then it's like, oh, then what if I can't, get these jobs done? What if I can't find help? Then what it's like, oh, what if my help ends up breaking something? Or what if this, and what if, you're just going to constantly just be beating your head against the wall, trying to force it. But it's like the more that you just like trust God, and that God makes it happen. When you go full throttle into it, supernaturally starts coming together as you move in that direction. You start putting momentum into that energy by taking action. It's just like, it's like, oh, somebody calls, and then they know this person, then you get this referral, and then this comes together, and it's all connected, and it's all mirroring this internal state. It's like, a lot of times your fears and stuff will start to be externalized unconsciously, and really a big part of like, I don't know, maybe like the law of assumption or law of attraction. It's like embodying the end state now. It's like if you look into the Bible, it's like God's already given you everything. The only reason that you're not experiencing that is because you just don't believe it, and you push it away, and you create these unconscious patterns, and that you start to pick up on as you become more and more still and start looking at your life, your perception of reality, and everything that's going on in it, as being an externalization of consciousness within you that shows you the things that are good. Some people are really good at certain things. Maybe they learn skills from their parents, about all of these, health, wellness, money, sex, power, all these things that the 3D world just thinks is the shit. When the reality is it's your thoughts and your assumptions and your these states of being within you that gets externalized. So if you're like, you got I don't know, maybe taught not to feel worthy or shameful of all these different, you'll see a lot of that reflected back at you, where somebody else might have a lot of self-worth that they got taught, and they have that reflected back to them. But everybody's got their different things. But like, but at the end of it, how people come to your awareness at specific times, all that's orchestrated, and it's deliberate, and there is no such thing as an accident, in God's world, so it's like, looking at things, more through a lens of like, oh, well, why does this, it's like you see a lot of it with like relationships. It's like you keep dating the same type, like archetype of a person that's maybe just distant and doesn't give a shit. These types of things, they're unconsciously playing out. And it's like the more that you make the unconscious conscious and let it go, the more things can start to change for the better. And by better, it's just like you're not creating these things unconsciously. And so when you maybe like for that example of like my customer starting a business, it's like if you start to really believe, that God's your provider, you stop having these worries of like what if, and a lot of times the fears, especially when you express them to others, you talk about your desires, a lot of times they'll mirror back to you your own fears. So it's almost kind of pointless in some level. If you're talking to somebody that's maybe not very, I don't want to say, there's levels to things, so if somebody's like not super conscious or not super aware of like metaphysical properties, or another way to say is just spiritual laws, and it's all biblical, really. You can repackage it in today's vocabulary for others' sake, but it's already in the Bible, but when you start to look at these different states, especially the ones that are reoccurring unconsciously, if you like for me, for example, I know God provides, the customer, everything, and so I don't have a lot of fear in that regard. So I get more of like today, for example, one of my customers that's like a business owner, he owns a construction business. He called me, wanting to get something done on like a rush job type thing, and we had somewhat of a disagreement about the billing at the end of it, and it's just like a lot of that I feel like, because I was like inwardly like, is that too much, but at the same time, it was out of town, there was a whole bunch of variables, and plus, I spent money on gas to get my guy out there, plus I bought the materials, and and so there was a bunch of like that kind of stuff, and plus I've been giving him some kind of lowball jobs, for a while now, and it's like, oh man, is he going to kind of snap? And then, oh, what happened? Oh, it manifested, so it's like, it's not a big surprise, once you start becoming more and more aware how powerful your inner conversation, your inner speech, all of these things, and your mental diet, plays a gigantic role in how you're experiencing your day to day. If you're just stuck in these like COVID mandate dystopian bullshit future, because you're just spinning out, so going down all these rabbit holes, and oh, this is what's in the jab, and oh, there's this and there's that. It's like you're living in their world, it's like that. You just get out of that entire paradigm, because it doesn't matter. It's not. It's start living like, if you were in heaven right now, would you care about this? Start building that kind of future for yourself, with God, ultimately with love, instead of just fear, because there's really only two things going on. There's fear and there's love, and most of us, we got taught this fear from the base, core fundamental error. Some people call it ego, consciousness. But, it's just this idea that you're separate and that you're a separate little brain and a body, which most of the world thinks that, it seems like. It seems like most people think that they're a body and that they're housed in their brain. But the more that you start to really explore consciousness, and by being still and all that kind of stuff, and start to reprogram a lot of your thinking about things, the more that you see the connectedness of all things, and the more you see that connectedness, the stronger your faith gets, and then it starts to take things up to another level, where you might see things going on in the narrative of the world. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't experience a lot of that, because I stopped participating in the world year. I feel like I got kicked out of the world about 2016, and it was just like, okay, well, whatever. And so it's not really having a big impact at all on me, and so having said that, then you kind of want to share that with others, but if they're not ready, I think a big part of this thing is just allowing people to live the life that they choose to live, not trying to shake them, or it's like, oh, well, I'm afraid that if you take this, then you're going to die, so I'm going to try to do this and that. by imposing my will on you. I think a big part of like letting go of that and just like allowing people to live the life they're going to live, and maybe be available to plant seeds, but then also like getting out of this mindset of I gotta do, just trusting that God's already done it. It's like really think about it. It's just like the creator of reality. Does God really need my help? It's like maybe on some level to like, hey, this person needs to hear something. Needs to something in the 3D world to hear it, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But I just want to get on here and kind of share a little update what's going on. The chickens are doing good, and it's like I don't think we got any more eggs, for some reason. But I don't know if my stepdaughter's been checking or not. I'm hoping that they all start laying. I forget how many. I think they're supposed to lay an egg a day, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. It'll be exciting. And so I got some of the issues going on with the turkey. Trying to try to comprehend. I was watching this video, and this guy was like hiking, and it's like a mountain lion started following him. Like aggressively, like kind of chasing him off down this trail. And the video was like 3 or 4 minutes long. I mean, it was long enough, where it's just like, oh shit, that would suck to be in that situation. Where I don't think a lot of people have been kind of out in nature like that, where it's like maybe you've I don't know, triggered some sort of predatory response from an animal. But that shit can get pretty real, and it's like I mean, you gotta either use your brain or use your body to fucking either scare the thing off, or I mean, you don't want to run from it, especially a cat. That would definitely trigger some sort of a predatory response. But like, you see in the comments, people felt sorry for the cat. It's like, what is wrong with people? It's like, I don't know. It seems like I'm just getting further and further away from that kind of mindset. And it's like, a mountain lion does not share those kind of feelings for you, at all. It's like, luckily it didn't. Just probably the dude was decently sized, but like, if it wasn't for society, a lot of these people would just end up just eating out of dumpsters. It seems like it's like, how are you even surviving, or doing anything, who knows? But like, just wanted to share some things, and other than that, I think I'm gonna bounce. I forgot. I appreciate you guys. Your support. I appreciate you guys that do that. Trying to make sure to remind. Just to put that out there, because it's kind of like an asshole move on my behalf if like someone throws some cash my way, and it's like, oh, you didn't even acknowledge or say anything about it, and so definitely want to get better at acknowledge part that's mostly my fault, because it's like, oh, God provides, and I'm just like kind of, so you kind of used to that flow, and it's like, so it wasn't anything personal, but and I didn't want it to make it out to be like I'm out here just begging for cash or anything, but like I do appreciate you guys' support and all that, and like and if you need music, feel free to hit up my SoundCloud. If you can download it, you can use it for free in your videos, and I don't care if you monetize your videos if you're making truth videos. And other than that, have a good rest of your now, and God bless.